Right, we're rolling. So here we are. It's episode 7 now. UK-BC lockdown. We've got a little ripper from the UK, Jake Ricketts. Good to have you on, Jake. Cheers.
Good to be on, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.
In
So, Jake,
homage.
do you want to give a little bit of background about your upcoming with the UK scene rollerblading?
It's been a long time since I started. I reckon probably started about 15 years ago now, when I was early into primary school and just grew up skating around Chester. And there was a big scene at first, and then it's died out. But my love's never gone away from it. So it's just something I've always done to keep me sane, really.
And that was the boneyard that kept you going, wasn't it, mainly?
Yeah, definitely grew up, and that's what kept the flame alight for a fair few years. And then there was a bit of a stage where it stopped sort of being the boneyard where we all skated, and it died down a little bit, and it's still not really came back, I guess, as such, but there's still a few of us, like a handful of us. But yeah, the flame definitely started there. It was amazing when I first started. There was like 30 to 40 rollerbladers some nights just for the sessions, and it came from all over, and it was mint.
Yeah, it was kind of the same for me growing up in Liverpool ways. It was kind of the same with the scene there. Obviously, as you know,
Sure, man.
Like obviously when we were skating with like Peter Dearden, Zach Whitelaw, all them guys,
man.
Bennett
Driver, and we used to come from those guys. Used to come to our park, and we used to come to your park. Do you know what I mean? Like it was. I remember it, man. It used to be a lot stronger, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely was. But I think now with the current situation, obviously, as discussed in previous videos, the sales have gone up 300%. From rollerblade. I know a lot of people are getting back into it. Even people who used to rollerblade, they're picking them back up and getting back into it also. I know a very big influence in your life is Devro.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you skated much with Devro at all recently, or have you seen much of him with lockdown and that, or just kind of gone a bit quiet?
No, I've not seen him since lockdown, but I've been speaking to him an awful lot, and he's in a good place at the moment.
Good to hear.
He's been with Alex today, Alex Burston, and I seen that they were going out for a skate.
Nice.
And just hitting up like a local Manchester cruise, and yeah, he seems to be in a good place at the moment, and he was a big influence on me in my life and my skating, and I've learned a lot off him. Good and bad.
So you're saying that you've skated for about 15 years. How old are you actually now, Jake? Because I don't even know.
26.
Right, so yeah, long time considering how old.
I got my first pair of like second-hand skates from just like obviously like recreational purple and yellow things. There's a photo somewhere of it, but I was very, very young, and as soon as I got on them, even just going up and down my road, I found a love for it on the road, on flat surface, on shitty plastic wheeled skates. So and from an early age, my parents knew I had ADHD and knew they needed to sort of get me into a hobby that fed my energy to be better at stuff and get in less trouble and stuff, which didn't really happen. But they tried, you know what I mean? They could see the positives in it that were working for me, and that's why I kept at it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think that speaks to a good percentage of rollerbladers in general. You know, like you need that sort of outlet, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
There are so
it's
many,
free
so
movement,
many,
isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And obviously growing up around Chester and Boneyard and stuff like that, is it the same fellas running Boneyard now that were running it when you were growing up, or has it sort of changed hands a few times?
Yeah. It's changed hands a few times, so it's still got a very watchful eye over from the guys who used to run it, but there's a few young lads now who run it they're just 3 BMXers from like North Wales. Some of them are from the Wirral, but
it wasn't a rollerblader, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. It was originally rollerblader run, rollerblader like working park. There was a couple of other aspects of the sport who were involved but didn't work there as such. And then I guess Lee he ran it, and then he went through a time in his life where he came away from it or whatever, and then there was a few more rollerbladers, but they've got that other things going on in life in it, so like they had other businesses going on, so it's in safe hands now, but it's just not the same anymore. And I guess
it's really difficult because rollerblading, obviously, to a lot of people like yourself and us and other people, is a passion. So
Yeah, of course.
once you have that in your hands and you're running a certain skate park, or you're running something that you enjoy to do, but you know it's not going to be a fulfilled career.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
It's not hard to step away from that, but sometimes you've just got to do it.
Yeah, that's it. Like the guys who are working there at the moment, they're fully like let me organise an inline jam, which was meant to be obviously the UKBC Boneyard meet, and that's still going to go ahead. But they just said to me basically, we don't know about rollerblading, but we know some nights that they still like, sometimes still on a Tuesday now there'll be like 15 of us there like skating, and
Good,
do you know what I mean?
numbers,
Like we can get the numbers there, but and I think with the UKBC thing, a lot of people turn up to their meet, so like even if they're just behind it, people are going to see that and they're gonna know, and like if there's a bit of history about the park saying how long it's been there.
That's it. I mean, and there's actually been a couple of the UKBC jams there already, haven't there? I remember going to. I went to one of them and then missed the one the following year I was away. But
yeah, man. Yeah, there's been a few good events there, to be fair, and obviously the ones back in the day were just unreal. Like Nick Lomax. Nick Lomax landed 720 Seoul one year, and the year before that, Elliot Stevens landed. From what I saw, was the first ever 720 to Seoul, and trying 720 Hurricane top soles and stuff. And this was in must have been like 2010, maybe even before that. And then you had Fraser Watson doing the cork spin 720 over the gap, which is a famous photo, and everybody's seen the clip and knows about it. And there's been some cool stuff go down in that skate park, and I reckon there's more to come. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely, and like as well, obviously not just Boneyard, but like I've seen you've been hitting a few of the outdoor parks around your ways.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
like
there's
now,
a lot of
now the weather's perking up a bit and lockdown's easing. It's been good to see some
nice.
clips.
And one of my good friends has just moved back from France, and he was out for like a professional cycling career.
Okay.
But he films and stuff as well, and he used to skate, and he had a really bad crash basically, and he's just moved back to the area, and we've just started filming a new section, and it's the first time I've actually been out skating with just me and a filmer for like the past 6-7 years. Like I don't remember the last time I did that from when I used to skate with like Cheese and all those guys, and still then like they would be skating and we'd be passing the camera between us to film, but like I went out today and it was just me and a camera, and I've not had a feeling like that for ages, and it's good to get it back, and we hit some like spots and some like really nice scenic places, and we got some cool shit, so hopefully the edit turn out really well. Like,
was it a solo session today, or was it with an acquaintance?
Just purely skating on my own. He's got skates to film on, which like he had some battered things, and I had some Kaiser M type, so I put them on them to just follow me around with a fisheye and be able to like get some cool stuff.
Yeah,
but it was purely skating on my own. And I did say to him at the end of the day, I prefer skating with other people, and I did try and invite the guys out today, but everyone's still a little bit funny about going out and stuff.
Yeah, understandable as well. You know, it's there are
yeah,
a few.
100%. I wouldn't ever like be on any of my mates for saying like, but yeah, we got some cool stuff, but it's just a bit hard to motivate on your own. I had my speaker going and had drum and bass on to try and get me hyped up to do these spots, but it felt good, and it got me back.
In the same boat, Jake. I can't.
I seen the spot you were hitting today, Lewis. It looked gnarly.
Yeah. It's a pretty big death rail. Will be a clip off later on, probably after this podcast goes out. But yeah, I've not skated a rail that size in a while, and it was big.
It's good to get the blood flowing again. You know, the adrenaline was pumping.
It's one of them where your heart's beating, and you feel your breathing get a little bit heavier, and you're thinking, shit, if I fucking miss this, I'm gonna hurt myself.
That's it, isn't it? I was proper intensive breathing, like through my nose, out from my mouth, and I got really hurt here because it was a weird rail where you don't until the end and you come off early, you hit a wall basically, and it was pretty grim, but we got the shit done anyway.
And so you were saying about putting together a little edit, a little section. Is it for anything in particular? So I know obviously you ride for True Apparel, and I mean, you still doing the UK Razor Ams, or what's the crack with that at the moment?
And built up a team basically, and
Jake?
he still skates for Razors, but has got a job now at Skate Pro.
Jake?
Sorry, you just broke up a little bit there. If you just start again with that story.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think your just connection isn't as strong as you think it is in the garden. So right now, what keeps happening is we keep freezing. We keep getting your sloppy face on the screen stuck.
1 second, boys.
Yeah, no worries. No dramas. Just a bit more drinking time. It's all good.
Is that better?
You've just literally lifted up the laptop and put it back in the same place. You absolutely.
Yeah, but can you hear me now? It's a bit closer to the house.
Yeah, to be honest, it has actually worked.
Yeah,
so,
it has actually worked, yeah.
It's that 1 bar closer, mate. It's that 1 bar closer. I've not got that fibre up. I've not got fibre optic broadband yet, man.
So carry on, mate. So obviously.
So yeah, basically Scott Quinn was our manager, and then he left for a job at Skate Pro. And since then, the UK's had no Razors manager, and it's all been a bit up in the air. And we've still all been sorted out and got what we need, and we can all still skate. But I've basically recently contacted Marco over at the European side of things and said that we need to get the Razors UK in, because there's nothing been posted on it now for years.
Yeah.
And I've been tagging them, and Dan Lovelace has been tagging it, and Andy Sparry's been tagging it, but there's just nobody on the account. So Alex Burston's basically going to take the reins on the account, and hopefully things are going to get back up and running on there. But the edit was just purely not for anything as such. It was for me more than anything, to be honest, because now, like, it's got to a point where I feel like nothing's been solidly put out from me for a while, like, apart from just the odd clip on my phone. Like, I've been to competitions and events and stuff like that, but I guess, like, having like a section there filmed that you remember and can go back and look at, that's the best part of it for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, and like going back and even now, after not watching the stuff that I did years ago, there's some full edits out there that's reminded me of spots and stuff that I'd like to go back and revisit. And yeah, it's purely for me, really, the edit. But like I say, the Razors Instagram page is getting back up and going, so hopefully it'll be posted on there, and that'll be sorted by the time the edit's cut. And I'm always doing stuff for True Apparel, like that's got a lot up, and like there's a few announcements coming in the next couple of weeks.
We'll wait for some sort of teaser in a moment.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be good.
On the Razor side of things, Jake. Yeah, we were literally discussing the other day. Derek Henderson has just brought out Pro Model, and nothing has been advertised for the lad. It's only the advertisement that's come from it is from himself.
Yeah.
And for such a big company, I understand that Andy Wagner owns AO Scooters, I think it is, and he owns a good few scooter brands. That is going to be his main income, and he's keeping the passion of rollerblading alive, because when he was younger, it was a passion for himself. So that's the reason why rollerblading is still an ongoing thing through Razors. But the profit margin is pretty much zero for them. But I still don't think that gives them the reasoning and all the excuses to not be putting out that advertisement, especially when you. I
totally agree with you, and I hope that it's completely to do with lockdown in itself and the fact that they don't want to promote the riders. Potentially, even if it was filmed before lockdown, maybe using the skate at the moment. Because I messaged them asking when the skate would be arriving, and they said basically with what's going on at the moment that there's going to be a delay basically on the skate coming out and when it's going to be arriving to everyone. So I know what you mean though. Like I don't understand why they haven't even been putting stuff out, even if there's stuff of people in like the older style or It's a bit of a strange one. I don't understand it myself, really.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, what you've just touched on there is a great point that I'd not even, like when we'd spoke about it, I'd not even thought about that. That, maybe as a brand, as a company themselves, they don't want to promote skating in this sort of, current situation, which does make absolute sense. And, like you say, it doesn't necessarily excuse the lack of promotion. You could still push out old clips and old content.
I agree to disagree.
Yeah, I agree to disagree as well. I mean, the first edit I put out in lockdown got so many comments on just like.
We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that.
Like. Yeah, but so I understand from a company perspective, you could probably see it as like, especially in America. Like, I'm sure that in some areas in America, the epidemic's worse than others. Like, seeing that Schmitty's Ramping Camp, they had their event today, and Joe Atkinson was there. I'm not sure what happened. I've not seen many clips, but like some areas in America are fine. But I imagine like as a worldwide company, it's a pretty scary time to want to promote people doing dangerous things on the streets as they see it. Do you know what I mean? Especially because he's like a full-on, he's a heavy metal guy. Like he will fucking split his head open and go down a kink rail and do it again. Do you know what I mean? Like they maybe don't want to. I expect there's going to be a good promo to come with this.
Yeah, situation that's going on in America at the moment. I've got a friend over there who's just gone back to work, and the quarantine situation and the virus situation has completely over there gone out of the window at the moment. So obviously we had the Brexit situation here, where it was going on for a couple of months, and then as soon as this COVID thing, the Brexit thing just disappeared. Nobody heard anything else of it. All social media was completely cleared. So over there at the moment, there is that situation with the black gentleman who has been murdered.
Yeah. I've seen the police officer he got sent down for third-degree murder, didn't he? He's been prosecuted.
Yeah, over there. So it's just riots at the moment. But the COVID situation has been completely like kind of overrid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one over there as well, though, because like the states and like are so big and split apart, and every state governs themselves. It's kind of like, you know, if you think of the UK with Wales and Scotland still in lockdown essentially, whereas England, different reign. It's the same over there. Like certain states are still in quite serious lockdown, I think, and others have flexed it a bit more. So. Yeah, I mean, I can get that, and as you say, it's a worldwide brand. It's they don't want to upset too many people. And speaking of upsetting people, little segue in there. UKBC, you dare to put out park clips? That was rude. It went off.
No, man. Like I didn't want to upset anyone. Like I really didn't want to upset anyone. But some of the things people were saying was like I was fucking killing fucking babies or something. Do you know what I mean, man? Like I was just going out to an empty skate park in North Wales that doesn't even get used when it's not in lockdown, and I was just doing my thing, man, and like trying to stay sane, and a lot of people disagreed with it, but you can only do what you can do, and I try and make the best out of and make a laugh, especially I'm a jokes catcher, man. Like I try and catch jokes out of them.
That's it, man. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely split almost like 50-50. Everyone was one side of the fence or the other. And
yeah, totally. I think there was like 70-something comments in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of them, it was like,
Still not as many comments as the post I put.
There was one guy called Chris Long who was writing loads of long comments, and I just loved that. His surname was Long, and he was writing loads of long comments, and it was just got to the point where it was just like, man, you're Long, like, you live up to your names. Like, shout out to Chris Long right now, like, fair enough, you disagreed with me, but I'm fine. My family's fine. Everyone around me is fine. I've not hurt anybody. Like,
that's it. And I think as well, a lot of people now are getting to that point, especially as things ease and, you can see more people and do more things. And everyone's probably taking a step back and thinking, you know what, maybe not that we didn't, give it the full respect it deserves.
From London, and like I seen on a map the other day, like, there was like a map where you've been affected and stuff, and they've got like their own area, obviously, because there's different zones in London. Like, and like I've seen, like, you can check the data yourself on how like affected your area is. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and it's all about common sense at the end of the day, and I would none of my friends would come out if they were feeling under the weather and feeling grim in this epidemic, and I wouldn't go out if I was feeling grim in this epidemic. Do you know what I mean? I've got family, I've got people to care about. I wouldn't put anyone at risk, but like, I'm not gonna let my mental health get the better of me because I'm not gonna go skating. Like,
yeah, it's the same for myself. So like, obviously, going to like your supermarkets, popping into a shop. And, you know, somebody comes
that sends me so more wild than going skating, man.
The thing is, though, somebody turns around to you and they'll get a bit close and they'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry." And my reply every time is, "It's all right, mate. You wouldn't come out of the house if you were fucking ill."
Yeah, innit?
Because at the end of the day, you'd have to be a selfish, self-centered, horrible person to come out of the house knowing that you're not feeling great, to then give that to somebody else. You'd have to be a balance. And when you were talking about your rollerblading, then I don't disagree with you going skating on your own. You want to, you know, you are the only risk that you're putting out there is if you have a fall. But that's on your own head, and that's up to you. Like, you know, if you want to.
And today I was trying a trick today, and I fell over, and I was like, right, I'm not going to do that, and I told myself no.
Yeah, well, and you know, fair play for that as well, because that's another one. Everyone, as long as you can skate within your limitations, your boundaries. I mean, I've seen you flow around parks. There's not many limitations there, so at least you can take it around and say, actually, you know, maybe I do need to take a step back, just reduce the risk, and once it all sorts out and we get back to full sessions and all the boys are out and that, then we'll go back in. But fair play, because you know that's part of everyone's argument, isn't it? You know, common sense prevails at the end of the day. You know, if
exactly, mate,
smart about it is reduce the risk.
And there is always that chance you could like fall on a topsoil and hit a stone and fall and crack your head. Like my dad was in hospital 2 days ago because he swung a fence hitter and the fence hitter bounced back and hit him in the back of the head, and he had to have stitches in the top of his head. I mean, that's something he does like it's something he's done for years, and it just happened in a field. It was a hard piece of ground and it happened. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm taking it easy. I'm stopping when I feel in danger. I wear a helmet as well if I feel like it's something that I need to
wear a helmet. From the park clips that you've been putting out, I've not seen any sort of helmets except for your helmet haircut.
Because I've been being in my comfort zone, mate. Like today, before I did the clip today where I was skating in the street, I put a helmet on, got a clip in the helmet, did it, and then after it, took the helmet off and did the clip.
I'll be dead honest, that's probably where my selfish side has come out of it. Like today, obviously doing that rail, I definitely had no pads on. I've never really wore pads. Obviously, over the years, I've had to buy hip pads, you know, and I'll wear shinies occasionally.
But you've been on this podcast before and spoke that you've never really, touch wood, had like a serious injury, have you? So you're still skating within your limitations because you've never.
I've seen the side of it. Yeah.
So broke a bone?
No, I've definitely broken bones. I've definitely broken a lot of bones, but I wouldn't say that's a serious injury. I'd say like, as like, you know, the previous conversation with Scott Axie and Robert Pruitt, Rob has took some falls, as you know Rob yourself, to the point where...
Oh my God, I've seen him take a fall at ramp work. It's the horriblest thing I've ever seen.
That's what I mean. Some of Rob's falls are life or death. Like,
it was the eye socket one, if you remember it. He tried to transfer from a ramp that was like an extension ramp where the kink boxes are now into a quarter, and he slipped on the way up and he landed eye socket first into the end of the coach.
I've definitely already still got videos on my phone of Rob just landing on his face and landing on his head.
He's a gnarly guy, man.
He's a bad man.
But you know, sometimes you've just got to. It's strange and a bit of a shit way to say it, but sometimes you just got to grow up and actually realise that, you know, if you fall, fuck me, you're not going to work tomorrow if you fucking injure yourself. Yeah. And then you could even
totally.
5-6 weeks, maybe longer.
A big thing that I do every single year that, onto the subject of falling over, is go to the Richard Taylor jam, mate, and like, you know, everybody knows he fell over on his skates, and I've been and stayed at his mother's house with Rob, and like, it's never a bad moment when you're down there, but you always remember in the back of your head why you're there, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, the guy was just rolling down a hill and that happened. Like, and like I say, there's never a dull moment, and everyone's always laughing, and like, it's never sad, but you've always got to remember, like
there's risk, you know, there's risk everywhere, like you said.
Totally, man. Totally.
Something as simple as, you know, like you say, rolling downhill, or like, you know, like Rob's was like a slip. You know, he probably laced that trick, you know, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
just takes one little slip. But anyway, moving on from negative vibes of falling and, you know, bad times, we'll move on to something a bit more positive. So the True Apparel stuff, you know, obviously from speaking to the likes of Aaron at Winter Clash and Johnny Quayle and Matty Vella and all the boys at True Apparel, seems Yeah. Seems like all the boys are putting out content, even even if it's just lockdown P-rail stuff. Johnny's been skating a lot of park stuff, which has been
Johnny's
been
killing it on his own.
He's a monster, man. He's
you see the Jack Stoker clip that went up, the sweaty on the angle line thing from flat.
Ruthless,
that's
mate.
Unreal. Like that stuff's just, I don't understand it. It was like shoulder height.
Yeah. So I mean, like the whole
big up to Jack Stoker right now. Like honestly, the guy's a G. Like honestly, and I'd never heard of him before I joined True Apparel. And Mark was like, yeah, just Jack in it. And then I've watched his skating, mate, and he was like, yeah, I used to skate with Dean Makin and all these old school G's, and like he's a killer. Like he's a killer that he needs to be appreciated a lot more, I think.
Absolutely, and there's a fair few of them in the UK scene, but
definitely, mate.
With the True Apparel stuff though, like is there plans for? Well, obviously they've had the t-shirts coming out. A few riders have had the signature t-shirts. Anything in the pipeline that you can discuss? We do want the True Apparel guys on anyway, so hopefully.
Yeah. If you ever get them on for a joint chat, it will be the biggest laugh you've ever had in your life. Yeah. All on together. But so there's a new design coming out, which was meant to be on a jumper because it was obviously meant to come out in winter, and then lockdown happened. So they're bringing it out on a grey t-shirt anyway, and it's quite like a robotic-y design. I've got a picture of it, but I'm not showing it. But look out for that. And then probably I'd say the biggest and most stylish rider in the UK at the moment, and one of the most talked about underground skaters is about to get dropped as a team member, and it's going to be sick. And then another one who's an old school G in the game from a completely different area. So I reckon it's gonna start popping off real soon.
Me and Brad haven't received any messages or emails.
I must be the old school.
Yeah. So we don't know what you're talking about, mate, because we haven't received any information on it.
That's it. I was happy to find out myself by knowing the guys who were dealing with it. But yeah, it's gonna be a big thing, and I don't know how. The guy, one of them anyway, how he's not been on any sort of sponsor before. Like, he's a fucking killer.
Fair play, man. So the team's expanding. Are we expecting maybe a team edit, a video, a VOD as a team?
We're all in a group chat, and we're all saying, like, as soon as lockdown's finished, we can't all wait to meet up and stuff. I see in the Blade Clothing guys all met up today. So Dan Lovelace and Connor Pierce, who used to be True Apparel. Fucking saying now you are a snake, Connor Pierce, and fuck you. But nah, seriously, they've been meeting up today, and they've all been getting clips, and like they've been stacking for something. So I've mentioned a camping trip down like the Welsh coast when Wales lower their lockdowns a bit, and I think there's something in the pipeline, like definitely.
Sound anything like that, like a VOD, a tour, anything, that promotes that UK scene, that UK vibe. Absolutely game for that.
Sure.
That sounds decent, man.
It's great. It's crazy how many actual UK rollerblader killers are out there, because obviously I think I met Connor Pearson probably about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and never heard of the lad before. Obviously, you've got your friends in common, Facebook type of shit.
Yeah, of course.
Connor Pearson's a fucking ripper, mate. Like,
so I met Connor Pierce on a thing called Camp Rubicon, which doesn't allow rollerbladers on anymore because I don't know why, but it was like a camp sponsored by Rubicon the drink, and I met him on that and bought him a bottle of apple vodka. Me and him sat there drinking it all night, just getting smashed, talking shit. And he's a sound guy. He's the most down to earth guy ever. But yeah, he's a killer, man. Like he's one to look out for sure. And he's filming and he's doing like stuff with his camera. Like he's a good guy to look out for.
Man. He's a steezy guy for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So I mean, moving on to obviously you said about potential camping trips. Obviously, you've got a young family yourself. I know myself with a 2-year-old, how sometimes...
That's how old my little lad is now.
Yeah, I mean...
Just to interrupt you, first time it's ever happened in this situation is I'm currently actually going to have to leave the table. Otherwise, I'm going to fucking piss my pants.
I said to Amy before, what happens if I need a shit?
Mate, that's what I mean. I was out today skating. He got me up 10 minutes before I left the house, and I was fucking... Mrs. made me coffee, left the house and I was coffee. I was like, fuck, I used to have a shit after my coffee. Like, what the fuck? Wait, I was skating this fat ass rail and I was just like, oh, mate, if I had fucking balls this, I'm not going to do a poop for a week. Like, just give me a second and I'll be back.
Jump out, man.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Like I was saying, like, just keep it flowing. Young family, getting out on the skates. How would you balance it? Like there's a lot of us now that are sort of late 20s, early 30s, young families trying to find that work-life balance with mixing it with skating as well. It's how do you find that?
It's hard, man. Like, it's fucking really hard. But like having a partner who understands you is a good part of it. And she understands if I don't go out on my skates, she'd suffer more than me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that completely, man. And my missus is exactly the same.
But yeah, like in a way, like it's made like stuff like say Winter Clash harder and certain things harder, but they're not the things that I want to focus on now anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to focus on making like my skating happy and being out there doing what I want to do.
Yeah, so
and,
I mean,
Winter Clash and stuff like that's all good, but
you
don't really like. For me personally, I don't achieve anything going there for the weekend. Like I love it, don't get me wrong, and like I miss it, but I love my family more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't just go on a weekend away without it being productive. Now I'd fully want to make it look good for the weekend and
absolutely. So and that makes sense.
work essentially, but I'm not making any money from it. But I'm doing it because I love it and it makes me feel good, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And going off that as well, the idea of Winter Clash, an event, you clearly sound like you're not overly fussed about the competition side of it.
Yeah, well, I am, and essentially, like, I went there, basically, there was a competition once in Liverpool, and it qualified me to go there and get into the semi-finals, and I got into the finals of the amateur competition, and it's to me, it's the most best feeling I've ever had from rollerblading. But
would that have been a slam jam, Jake?
Yeah, I think it was a slam jam, so I won. I think it was a slam jam or a laced. I won one anyway and got put straight into it. But I think the hardest part about Winter Clash is getting through that first stage, like standing out in front of 300 people that have entered this competition. And I got the chance to go straight through to the semi-final. And at the point, I skated the biggest thing in the skate park. And I just thought, right, I'm going to go ham. And then I got through to the final and I came fifth. I didn't get anything for it as such. But I would like to go back there maybe. I'm not saying like I'm underlining it. I would like to go back there. I think the Netherlands for me at the moment, and like I'd go there and I'd get high, man. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I would, and I'd see it as time away from the kids. I'd probably move the missus if I went there again, and I wouldn't see it as a like I'm going there to win Winter Clash sort of thing. I'd be going there to see everyone, see you two, see my friends. You know what I mean? Have a good time away, have a holiday.
Coming fifth at Winter Clash, mate, is a great achievement.
Hell of an achievement.
There were so many people out there, and like for the first time this year was the first time I went, and it was crazy experience. I was 20 pounds.
Breathtaking, isn't it, man? On that day of the final, when everyone's running around from spot to spot and like
you say that, but I was pretty pissed most days, so some days were a bit of a blur for me.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. I've been fucking smashed and stoned as well. Like
the competition for Winter Clash, mate, and how would you say it? Competitors?
Yeah. Competitors.
The competitors there are
next level.
Yeah, they're fucking crazy, mate. They're fucking
bangers.
Crazy. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? You've got guys that go there like with something in their head that's just like.
Well, this is the thing. They've still got that dream in their head.
I was there the year that Niels did 540 alley topsoil down the handrail, man.
That handrail is disgusting.
I watched him the year before he did the 540 alley topsoil. He did 540 alley forward. And I could see him stood at the top of the ramp after landing the 540 alley on and winning the competition. And he was looking down the rail thinking, I want to do something better on it. And then the year after, I went and watched him do that 540 alley topsoil, mate. And the fucking roof lifted. It was better than any concert I've been to. I've been to see like Wu-Tang, fucking Nas. like loads of heavy metal Slayer on their last ever concert, and like being in Winter Clash to see that moment was better than anything else I've ever experienced. I promise.
I don't imagine it was any better than our drum and bass nights at Leeds.
Oh God, they were mucky time. Shout out to Dan Ives as well.
Dan Ives, Bennett Driver, and who else was who else was there going crazy with us at the time? There was a couple of us. Sammy Optics. He appeared every now and then, but
Joe Harvey was in Leeds as well at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, when I was living in London, Joe Harvey and myself were quite close. I
remember coming to, when you told me to come to yours in London, and you didn't tell me that it was like the Jewish capitalism place of London, and I just came in on a bus and I rang her. I was like, Lewis, everyone's got a hat on. What's going on?
Hey, you're telling me when I first moved, it was 4 a.m. and I'd smoked like probably about 6 joints before I left the house, and I thought I was losing my fucking mind.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah, we've had some funny old times, mate. We've had some funny old times.
Crazy times. But moving on, Jay. So obviously, with the lockdown situation starting to ease, you know, I know you've got a child and the rest of it now, and you know, you got a missus, and you know, you started to grow up a little bit yourself. Have you got any plans for yourself?
I'm not.
Well, no, that's just ADHD. Mate, that ADHD ain't going fucking nowhere.
Man, I started trying to take Ritalin like 2 years ago, and I did about 3 months on it, and I was just like, I'm a different person on this shit.
Yeah. Pills will always change you, mate. It's the same with people with depression. You know, once you take a pill, it changes you a little bit differently. You're not the same. You don't feel the same within yourself. I've been there at one point in my life, you know, and I think I spent probably a week maximum, maybe not even that on them, and I just felt totally different within myself, and it didn't feel like me as a human being. It was weird. It wasn't the same feeling. But the question is, like I asked you fucker, what's your plans for your future then, Jake? Have you got any plans? My plans, just to give you a little bit of rough background, you know, is I'm happy doing whatever pays my rent and keeps the roof over my head and gives me something a little bit there to spend. But as long as I'm happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's pretty much what matters for me as well, to be honest, mate. Like, as long as I'm happy and my family's happy around me, I'm happy. But in terms of like the skating side of things, and I just want that to be happy as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to skate like I do want to skate competitively. Do you know what I mean? That's where I get my buzz off. But it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what I want out of life yet, and I guess I'm still 26, and I'm one person who influences me a lot, who I've been watching a lot of talks about, is Mike Skinner, and he's been through a lot of rough times in his life, and like he's finding the meaning of life, and I'm trying to find the meaning of life. And when I'm on the skates, I forget the meaning of life, which is sort of what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just sort of forgetting.
You're not the only person, mate.
Enjoying it and seeing my kids grow up to be me. Like, everyone says to me every day, "Oh my God, they look so much like you." And like, I can't be more blessed to have that. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people can't have kids, some people can't do this. Like, I'm just living each day as it comes, man, and taking it easy, innit?
That's a beautiful thing, that, man. And you know, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Me particularly, you know, like young family, it's one of them.
Yeah, man. And like I've been in my dark places as well as my happy places. Do you know what I mean? Like, just before meeting my partner, I was in rehab for 6 months, man. Like, and it wasn't a very good time, but it happened, and I'll happily speak about it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will. Like, I didn't have kids then, but yeah, you overcome, you learn, and you see each day is a different day, man. And like, each day you find a different point of happiness. Like, today I found the point of going out and skating and making me happy again. And
you're not the only rollerblader out there. It's strange because we are a bunch of strange characters, I think. You know,
man. Have you watched Brett Dasovic's recent videos where he just talks over his minute-long edits?
Yeah, but I've seen him actually. Yeah, to be fair, he talks about like how he's doing the trick, and
it's really interesting to see, like, because he talks about his mental health a lot and how, like, when he's out skating, people frown upon him, and like, some days he has positive days, some days he has negative days, but
that is kind of like the process of these podcasts to begin with. So Brad originally came up with the idea to do these podcasts and talk with people because people's mental health at the moment, being currently stuck in lockdown and being stuck in the house there at the same four walls, isn't going to be the most stable or best. to be around. So Brad's thought, let's have a conversation with people. Let's get people on here, talk to them. Let's see how people are doing, because at the end of the day, it's Brad's idea also was to be like, let's people don't know everyone on UKBC, but we want to make their faces known and talk with them, and so people are getting more of a knowledge about their background and their lives. But then
totally, mate. I've listened to every single episode so far, and like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first seen the first one, I thought, oh, I'm not gonna like be that interested in it as such, but that's not like me being negative, because I've watched every single one and I've enjoyed every single one. Do you know what I mean? Like, but at first I was just like, how do you talk about skating? And I said to Amy just before coming on, like, how am I going to talk about like me skating, and like, how am I don't see me as an interesting person as such, but as in terms of like UK rollerblading, I guess, like, I've been and stayed with Chaz Sands for a week back in the days where he had Solomon Pro Skates, Razors Pro Skates.
It's not all about fame and glory for us.
Exactly, mate. Yeah,
it's one of them things. Though, it's one of them things where rollerblading really, as much as of a passion as it is for all of us, everyone who. If you're on UKBC or if you're, on any
of my friends I asked tonight, I was like, "Are you coming? Are you on Facebook? Like, I'm going on this thing. Like, are you on Facebook?" And they were like, "Oh, I deleted UKBC because of all the shit that's been going on there recently. Like, there has been a lot of bad shit going on there recently, man, and it's not good to see. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've contributed to it myself, like, but only in little jokes ways. Like, people have been saying, like, what's the best a shoe for a shadow? I'll put like a chicken fillet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just having jokes. Like, I'm just catching jokes off it. Like,
but this is the thing, man. Like, rollerblading, as much of an impact as it's had on our lives, is still quite a small part of our lives. We all go to work. We've all got families. What we're doing doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't. It doesn't.
No, it just hurts us, man.
We just do it because it gives us that sense of satisfaction, that enjoyment that we crave
freedom,
so much.
Man. It's freedom.
But like 95% of your life isn't rollerblading. I think that's what Lou was getting at then with these chats. You can come on and we can relate about rollerblading, but 50-60% of it is just us chatting about life. Like how's your mental health? How are you feeling? And that was the real aim of it.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to be having, in a way,
totally, man.
Make sure people who are part of our community are keeping themselves happy and keeping themselves sane, because at the end of the day,
I don't mention any names, but there are a lot of unstable people in our community at the moment.
Yeah, there is.
Last month I went. Well, it was about 3 months ago. I went to London to stay with. I'm not going to mention. Well, it was a certain company. Right? Yeah, I went to London and I went to visit a certain rollerblader in a mental health hospital. And everyone knows, I reckon now, to be fair, it was Jack. Do you know what I mean? Jack Swindle. Everyone knows him to be UKG. But I went to see him, and he was in a really bad place. And I've recently seen that he's got out of hospital and he's skating again, and everything's on the uprise for him. But it just proves, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got that switch, mate. Like, everyone can. We're a small community, and the least we can do is check up on people and go and see.
I fully understand it, Jake. So, when I was living in London, I used to session with Jack quite a lot. And Jack is an absolute fucking killer on them rollerblades. He knows exactly.
He's unreal, man.
He's really good. But then at the same time, mental health can take over, and it can affect you in a way where it's not going to make you feel great about yourself, and it's going to take a toll on your life at some point. But Jack, I've seen recently, Jack's been out of the guys. What brand is it in?
Oh my God!
On my grind.
On my grind.
Yeah. So
on my
Jack,
grind.
Shout out on my grind.
Shout out to Jason OD as well. Thanks for hooking me up that weekend, Jason.
So Jack is around the best people he can be. These boys
honestly, it's so good to just see him with his skates in his hands again. Like, it's so good.
Jack is a lovely lad as well, and
same age as me. When every single competition when I was younger was me, him Ryan France, and Andy Gilbert. It was four people fighting for that top place. I went to competitions in Newport, in Southport, Wales, Rampworks, UK Skate, Boneyard, like all these competitions, the Works in Leeds, and it was me, Andy Gilbert, Jack Swindles, and a guy called Ryan France, who was the same age group as me. And to see Jack like do what he did and excel more than any of us, like he could, like, honestly, like, big up to Jack right now.
Cheers, Jack.
Cheers, Jack. Pleasure, mate. Just to interrupt you there, Jay. Andy Gilbert, the fucker. Andy Gilbert, mate. He's a great guy. I get along with him really well, but pisses me off, man. He fucking doesn't skate for so long, doesn't skate for like 2-3 years, puts his rollerblades on, comes back and he's doing like fucking true top ponds and the top big bowls.
900 in boxes and shit,
fuck off, man. Like, he's just a natural. He's a natural at the sport.
Some people do have a natural talent, and him, Stephen Swain, Adam Brown, they're just some of the people that have got natural talents that don't. They've got their own businesses now that they've got more.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Towards. But if they came back to it now, they'd be so much more respected than I think when last like 5 years where rollerblading's been a bit dead. Do you know what I mean? Like if Swain put out an edit now, it would be so solid. Same with Lee. Same with anybody.
Swain still puts out clips and it gets recognition from other rollerbladers in the UK who are sharing his videos. Adam Brown, mate. Adam Brown's doing well for himself. You know, he's got that wrap your car business, which is wrapping people's cars, changing the colour of people's vehicles, which is doing well, you know. But Adam Brown was a really good rollerblader.
And to be fair, I mean, you know, like you'll get them.
He was in the same era as I don't know if he's going to watch this or not, but I had a massive argument with him on the States. Tom Portas. Yeah. Like Tom Portas, Adam Brown, Lee Devereaux. They're the original Solomon team.
Who's Lee Devereaux? The fact is, you'll love that I've said that.
Yeah, you will. But no, they were the original Solomon team with Chaz as well. Like they're all like people you should be listening to, I guess. But
I mean that's it. There's people in our community, scene, whatever you want to call it, that have maybe taken a step back from it. They don't love it any less. That's the beauty of it, and it's the same.
Chaz Sands shares Sven Bockhurst's skating every day, and that's because he's an inspiration to watch. He's doing different things, and I guess that's how he sees it, because he's living in Unit 23 with the likes of Chris Kyle and Danny McCaskill rides there, and they're the Red Bull team, and he's seeing all that happen, and he knows in his head that skating's never going to be that big, you know. Like, I'm sorry, like maybe it will, but like,
no, I agree with you.
The likes Chaz Sands and Scott Quinn lived at Unit 23 and seen people like Chris Kyle and, like, you know what I mean? Like they're on like wages, man. They're on like they've got.
I agree with you. Unfortunately, you know, there's a time in your life, and there's, you know, you've got to take that bit of passion to a side, and you've got to go. It's not going to be the same as it used to be.
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
Never will be. The only thing that's going to come close to the rollerblading thing, and, you know, it being a bit bigger, is fucking free skating. People fucking bombing it around France streets, and it's going to turn into like riding a bike Tour de France, but on fucking rollerblades. That's the most I can see it coming to.
That's why I got some big wheels. I want to do Berlin Marathon next year, mate. That's
I'd be keen for that one. That looks really good. And to be honest, like, you know, you look at the likes of Nick Lomax and Danny Aldridge, the big wheel stuff, the urban skating they've been doing. You watch
Brett Davis as well, man. Like, have you got Brett Davis from Manchester on?
Yeah, man. Shout out Brett, because like
Brett's
big wheel and stuff
is really inspiring at the moment, man. Like he goes out on a daily basis and just makes something out of nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and it shows as well. You know, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, what about hammers and all that? But at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, as long as you've got wheels on your feet, man, just get out there, cruise.
Obviously, you mentioned Danny Aldridge. We are going to have a guy on this podcast at some point in the next couple of days, maybe weeks, a guy called Danny Libacker. So Danny, I grew up with my cousins. I was quite close to my cousins when I was growing up, and a lot of them were into free running. Danny Libacker is one of the most impressive free runners I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I think I've heard of him, you know.
Yeah.
Danny Libacker.
Yeah. He's been doing
I've fully heard of him, man. I've heard of him. I've seen his videos.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of videos with Danny Aldridge. Danny Aldridge got him a pair of rollerblade, obviously through rollerblade, where they've been doing a lot of free running and stuff together. But then at the same time doing videos together where Danny's skating and Danny's, well, fucking hell, both called Danny.
Yeah.
Danny Aldridge is doing skating and Danny Lillback is doing the free running side of it. But he's going to be on he's going to be on a couple of, well, hopefully soon. We have had the contacts and communication together where he's going to be on the talk show, which is going to be nice because it's going to be a bit of a different.
Yeah, totally, man. That's what it needs, isn't it? It needs a different aspect on it and a different view.
He used to rollerblade as well. So Danny, when he was younger, he used to rollerblade himself. So it was crazy. I remember him.
I know a guy who's well into free running now who stopped rollerblading for free running. He's a sponsored free runner called Rob, and he's from Ellesmere Port. But yeah, I don't know if your cousin might know him, man. Like,
yeah, that's one of the things. You've got to look at different ways of pushing skating, and I think that's one of them, though.
That's why I would never hate on Robbie Pitts, man. Like, just bringing up on it, like that guy. He does some questionable stuff, and he's got some questionable outfits, but he's bringing a full new light to rollerblading. Same with Brett Dasovic when he's putting his videos out, like talking. He put a tennis court rail clip up the other day, and it was just ridiculous. Like hearing him talk about the challenge of how he got onto the wonky
just to
rail.
make you feel a little bit better then about this, Jake, and I'm sure you'll be watching it when it comes up. Robbie Pitts is actually going to be on the talk show at some point.
Oh, amazing.
He's another one who's agreed, so that's
so
good,
we spoke to Robbie Pitts.
Big up Robbie Pitts.
Big up Robbie Pitts.
Robbie Pitts.
And big up any Australian person who listens to the Chats. Have you heard the band The Chats? They're an Australian band.
No.
There's a song called Smoko, and it's just like, come on, Smoko, so leave me alone.
I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
So it's such a sick band, and Gavin Drum as well. Big up to Gavin. All the Australian dudes, in fact, like anyone in Australia is killing it, man.
So I met Gavin Drum and David Sizemore then at Winter Clash, and them two are probably the rollerbladers that I really enjoy to watch. A lot of rollerbladers, to be quite honest with you. And they just didn't understand my English banter. They couldn't get on board of it, mate. You know, I'm like when I've had fucking 20 bevvies and I'm fucking on one.
First year I went to Winter Clash, I was 16, and there's some lockers on top of the balcony. And we'd been smoking weed all day, and one of my friends was sat there, and we pushed him off the top of the lockers, and he landed on his balls on the bottom thing that was open, and all these American dudes like Dre Power around us, and we were all like, he's just landed on his bollocks, and all these American guys were just like, what are you going on about, mate? What's funny? Like, why are you laughing so much? And we were just like, mate, you don't understand.
I don't know if you know a guy called Richard Pickles.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yes, I've not heard from the guy in a long time. So, Rich, if you're watching these or you're seeing them out and about, give us a fucking shout, mate. It'd be nice to hear from you. But we were at a Sheffield jam at the House Skate Park a long time ago, and Eric Bailey was there.
Yeah.
And me and Rich were having a fucking banter English type of argument outside, and Eric Bailey comes up and he's like, "Yo, man, yo, guys, come on, don't fucking fight. Come on, what's wrong with you? Why are you fucking fighting all the time?" And we were like, we're joking. He was just like, "Man, you guys are fucked up. What fucking fighting for?" And we were like, "No, we're not fighting, man. We're having a joke." And he was like, You fucked up. You fucked up."
That's class.
Yeah, so moving on then, Jake, from the quarantine, which we've heard about, and we've heard about your lockdown, keeping your family happy and yourself happy and finding them little self-meditations. Where are we going to see you after this? Where's the next spot?
The final of the fruitboot shootout, mate. I'm placed first, and I've been waiting for it to happen for fucking ages.
That's going to go off, man. That's going to be...
That's what I'm saving all my energy for, man. Like, there's been 4 runs of competitions, and I'm waiting for the final. Like,
you've placed first?
So
yeah, I'm at the moment, yeah, man.
End the video.
Stop recording. To be fair, have you skated the park since it's had the new layout?
Nah, that's what I mean.
You'll buzz off it, man.
Is this the house?
No, it's
Where's it going
asylum. With the big ball.
The last asylum, innit?
Asylum?
Yeah,
Where the fucking hell is that?
We went with James.
Nottingham.
They've just redone the street section,
yeah.
which is not as good as the old street section, personal opinion.
The only problem with
the bowl.
Yeah, the main bit looks amazing, man.
The bowl, you'll absolutely rip it. I imagine you'll be fucking in there with, AKA Gary, George.
Yeah. George will be flying about, no doubt. Shout out George Wilson.
Yeah. George Wilson, yeah. Shout out to G Willie. I've been on a few trips with him as well.
Since Winter Clash, he's now known as George. I was very, very pissed one night, and there was a gentleman, I can't remember his name, the guy with Yoto Goto, is it?
Yeah.
So there was another, he's Chinese, isn't he? He's Asian. There was an Asian gentleman with him, and I didn't know his name, but I was that pissed, mate.
That Asian gentleman.
Gary, I introduced this guy to everyone.
You have to talk called Jones, right?
I was walking around and I was like, guys, this is fucking Gary. It's Gary. Like, to everyone, and like fucking obviously George was well on it at the time. I thought it was fucking hilarious. But he's now called Gary.
Yeah.
So if you ever see George, I can call him Gary.
No.
So obviously after the fruit boot shootout, obviously you've placed first and you want to, I assume, accomplish some sort of fucking decent position in that.
Yeah.
Who are your competitors there? So who's the next runners up?
I think he's a main competitor because he's the best skater in the UK.
That, sorry, it just went a bit quiet, Jake.
Who was that?
Dan Lovelace is one of the.
Yeah,
don't shout.
I think he's second. He's second right up my arse. So if he turns up, I'm fucked. Do you know what No, there's been loads of people that have turned up and killed it at them. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone's solidly there.
Who's fared out of in the competition? So there's yourself that's first, did you say? And then it's Dan Lovelace.
I'll have to look on my phone. There's a thing somewhere.
We'll give you a brief second to have a little browse. Go on. Do you want me to cue some hold music? Shall I start singing down the mic for you or something?
I'll sing for you.
We gotta have some hold music going on. Otherwise, the viewers are gonna be like, "What the fuck's going on here?" It's very, very silent. Actually, while you're having a look for this list, have you seen Bella's new Instagram clips?
Yeah, them P-Rail clips.
Yeah, the three P-Rails together. Yeah.
They are sick, mate.
Bella, right? So I've skated with Bella a good couple of times, and I've had a good few games of skates with him, and he's been like, "Oh man, fucking hell, what's the point in skating with you? I've got about 5 fucking solid tricks, and you've got like fucking loads of tricks you're gonna throw at me." And I'm like, "Yeah," but I understand what you're saying, Bella. But since putting out them P-Rail clips, mate, like actually. Bella's fucking solid, mate. Like you want to
he's a beast.
He's putting graft on the new grinds, and we'll give him that.
So what he's done at the moment, he's put 3.
So this is the joint. This is the thingy standings at the moment. If you can see that. So if you can't see it,
yeah. So
it's I'm first with 30 points, and then joint second is Dan Lovelace and Matty Vella, and third is Joe Atkinson, fourth Rob Dalton, fifth Jack Lambert, sixth Dan Collins, seventh Connor Pearce.
Some big boys, isn't
Does that mean you're not going to go against Rob Dalton for the top and up and coming prize, or what? Or is he still involved?
Nah, fuck, he's not involved no more.
Cheese will smash your head in.
I'll smash his head in, mate.
Hold him out after a beer, that's it.
Cheese is a solid competitor, mate. He's a good all-round skater, do you know what I mean? And I've grew up with him, and he's fair dues to him.
Rob Dalton, right? He doesn't.
I can't say. He put up a status the other day asking for Scott Hallows' size skates when he's got 10 pairs of skates. You see the thing?
You're fucking hoarder, mate. The amount of times me and Cheese.
It's only banter, but Cheese face lighten up, mate. Like get less stingier.
The thing is as well. You're saying that he doesn't even want to be called Cheese anymore.
He hates it.
He hates it. He wants to be called Robert Dalton from now on.
I got time to nip away for 1 minute. I need a wee. Wee.
Are
you bringing your missus on?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring her out, but not on.
Okay, bring her out.
I'll go for a wee first.
Sound. So back to what we were talking about then. Why he's gone for a little piss.
So
Have you seen the clips?
I haven't, but
I'll
check them out.
show you these. These are pretty fucking ruthless. Anybody who is out there, Matty Vella. Matty Vella has got unbelievably lovely style. But he's been throwing out a few Instagram clips that's actually into Instagram video. So he skates from what I'm assuming he skates for USD flying team. And he's from Manchester, he's a local lad. But his style and his structure in this video is unbelievable.
Do you know who this is going to really appeal to? All the people that check us out through Spotify. So we've recently started doing the podcast uploaded to Spotify, which, I mean, if you're listening now, then what a treat that we are watching Matty Vella skate on an iPhone and you're listening to us talk. So probably pause this Spotify and go and give Matty Vella a check out.
Yeah, make sure you follow that guy on Instagram.
Yes, boys.
Here he is.
Just getting the missus back.
Well, we've gone off the topic on Matty Vella now because obviously big boy Jake Ricketts is in 4'9"
here. He overtakes Matty Vella any day of the week. Jake Ricketts taught Matty Vella.
Well, there you go. So that's it. Jake Ricketts taught Matty Vella. That is now recorded live on video.
Perfect.
Matty Vella will love that one.
Yeah, mate. We're just watching his Instagram clips on the free rails he's put together. It seems like he's got a scaffold rail, a play rail, and then kind of like a thicker rail.
Yeah. See the comments?
Stance and structure is fucking.
You seen the comments?
I haven't seen the comments.
No. That's the right way around. Yeah, nice one.
I commented on it saying that's dead good, but don't ever let Cheeseface go on that rail.
Let's have a look. Yeah, Jake Ricketts, sick. Cheers, lad. Don't what you have put, you fucking idiot, is don't ever let no sleep go on that rail. Yeah, so no sleep cheese face. I get what you're saying.
Everyone knows that.
So, Jake, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a good long chat with
Yeah, it's considering you're a fucking boring bastard. I don't know what else we can talk about with you.
Oh yeah.
5'1" and tons of fun. So
you say he's 5'1", he's 4'9".
All right, fair enough.
He claims disability. Fucking midget lounge.
We'll have a height off next time we're together.
Yeah. How tall are you, Jake?
Don't know.
All right, okay. He doesn't want to mention it. That's okay, guys.
This tall.
This tall. Skullful.
Yeah.
Shout out to Skullful.
Yeah, Keir Lindsay. I think.
Yeah, big up Keir Lindsay as well. He's a big inspiration.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to have a conversation with Keir Lindsay at some point as well, if I can fucking understand his super strong Scottish accent.
He's not going to be able to understand you. You big fucking slobbering idiot.
I don't. Yeah. That's what happens when you fucking.
Love for the berries.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, Jake. I understand you were nervous and didn't know what you were going to talk about, but you actually rambled on for an hour, mate.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. I know, obviously.
I feel like there's more we could ramble on about, but we just bore the people.
Yeah, we'll sort that out when we pick up the bag of beef next time, buddy.
You naughty boy.
Pleasure, Jake. God bless.
Pleasure.
Nice to see you guys.
Take care, man.
Cheers.
Peace out.
See you later, buddy.
See you, bud.
See you later, man.